Hi, everyone, and welcome to Lunch and Learn Wednesday. My name is Anza Goodbar. I'm the owner and founder of Audientum. We're a full-service marketing agency that helps service-based businesses grow and scale their business. Today, the title of our talk is going to be about the power of commitment to grow your business. And the purpose of our presentation is to highlight the difference between what commitment is and what interest is, and how we can become more committed to showing up and growing our business. So our focus today is really going to be about looking at how we can be more committed to growing a sustainable business. And so we're going to take a look at several different aspects of what we can do to adopt a more committed attitude when it comes to business growth. So one of the first things that we can do is always be looking for ways to grow our business. And what does that mean? That means that our mind is always looking for ways that we can be growing our business. We're talking about our business openly every opportunity that we have, and we can do that in a very non-salesy way. We can say things like, we've talked about a stealth close before. Oh, by the way, do you know that I'm doing a workshop next week? And just let people know in a conversation if it's fitting, right? Oh, hey, did you know that I just published a book? I would love, to be able to get your opinion on it. Would you be interested in reading my book, right? So there's lots of things that you can do that's information sharing, yet sharing about what you do as a business. You're willing to risk failure. You are willing to be open-minded. You're willing to work alongside your team, and you're willing to outwork everybody. And so we're going to dig deeper into some of those as we progress through our time together today. So let's talk a little bit more about always being open-minded and growing your business. So when you're really committed to growing your business, you don't work within a 9-to-5 construct. This is when I'm going to work. This is the only time I'm going to work. I got a business for myself to set my own schedule. You're always thinking. You're always moving things. You have the ability to be flexible. If you are most creative at 4 a.m. in the morning, then bless you, child. Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and, work when your energy is best. I always say my best ideas come when I'm in the shower, because I'm always thinking about my day, what I need to do, how could I do it better, who else do I need to connect with? And so you're just always thinking about, how can I show up better? How can I do more? How can I improve my processes? And then this is a trick that I do, and it isn't always successful. I think you guys may have seen a post recently, but I keep a notebook at the side of my bed. And so if I wake up in the middle of the night and have this great idea, I'll write it down. I don't turn the lights on, so I can't always read what I wrote, but it will usually be enough to say, yes, that's the idea that I had, right? Because ideas have an expiration point. And so if we don't take some kind of action when we have the idea, that idea can easily escape into the ether and never to be thought of again, right? One of my friends uses their notes on their iPhone. And so they'll just grab their phone and type it into notes really quickly. I don't like to be technically connected at night, so I don't do that, although it's a brilliant idea. And if I wanted to do better, I probably should do that so I can remember more of the details of what my ideas are. But it's an important thing to do, is to have some way to capture your ideas, whether you have a notebook handy or whether you're very techie connected and you'd like to use something like OneNote or Evernote are great if you don't have an iPhone and have a note feature. And this is a really important thing, and we've talked about this before, about being really connected to your business through your business plan. People who are committed to growing their business have an updated business plan. They go through quarterly and update it to make sure that they're staying on mission, to make sure that they're making decisions that are getting them closer to making their goals. You protect your business. You have business insurance. You have insurance that's particular to your business, right? When I owned my mortgage company, we had E&O insurance because it was really important to protect us in that way. So regardless of what your niche is, you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself with the proper types of insurance coverage. And then you use your core values to drive your decisions, right? Our core values are what drive our actions when we're working with our potential clients. We want to make sure we're in alignment. Well, we need to be in alignment in our business with our own core values, because if we are not operating in our core values, we're going to procrastinate. We're going to stop. We're not going to take action because it doesn't feel right, right? And some of us call that a gut feeling. Some of us call it intuition. But it's really important to be able to filter your decisions through your core values to make sure that you're staying on track. And then people who show up who are committed, they have goals. They write their goals down. They use vision boards. They break their big goals down into actionable steps. And then I think this is the most important part about having the right mindset to show up and be really committed is you're accountable to somebody. Maybe it's a business bestie, maybe it's an advisory board, maybe you've chosen to work with a coach or a mentor, but you are committed to showing up and taking action and being consistent. And that all starts with just always having your business on the brain. And that doesn't mean that, you're working 24/7, you're slaving away at your computer 12 or 14 hours a day. That's not it at all. It's just always being mindful and seeing opportunities that you can tune into. If you're at a conference, what can you do at a conference that you can plug into your business? What can you see? I was a former event planner in my previous life. I spent more than 12 years doing events all over the country, from big arena events to small intimate retreats. And every time I was at someone else's event, I was going through my checklist. Oh, I would have done that differently. I could have done this better. Oh, the flow could have been better this way. If I had done it, it would have been this way, right? Well, we should be doing that when we're attending other people's events, if it's workshops or, what have you. What could you do better? Because it's always easier to look at things from a bird's eye view than it is when you're in the thick of things. We just don't always see the things that we're missing. And I'm probably going to do a training about the different kinds of thinking that we can use inside of our business, because bird's eye thinking is a really great way to do that. But you can look at your business from a bird's eye view through the filter of someone else's business when you're working with them through an event or through a training or that type of thing. And you can say, wow, this is really great. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I could adapt this thing that someone else is doing to fit this thing that I'm doing to make it better, right? And so you're always looking in a creative fashion. Now, you don't want to copy somebody, but to emulate what somebody else is doing is absolutely okay. Again, we can, excuse me, talk openly about our business. You always want to have a well-crafted elevator pitch, right? You want to be able to say what you do clearly, concisely, and completely. You don't want to sit and ramble on and ramble on. You just want to say, if someone says, what do you do? Oh, hey, I work with small businesses. I help them scale to 6 and 7 figures in 12 months. Oh, really? How do you do that? Right? You don't want to tell them everything that you do. You want to make it interesting so they'll say, oh, how do you do that? Where do you do that? Who's your client? Can we connect? I need that, right? And so you want to make sure that you share what you do in an easy, digestible way, and you should be able to say it in 30 seconds or less. If you're going over 30 seconds, they're moving on in their mind and, thinking about their grocery list or when does the housekeeper come, so you want to be really quick and perky and easy to identify with. You want to make sure that you're positioning yourself as the expert in your field when you do that. Oh, by the way, did you know we're the only people in the country that do XYZ? Or, hey, did you know that I just invented this new framework to help you get this type of result? And so you want to be sure that the way you communicate what you're doing, how you're serving, really is positioning you to be that go-to person. You understand that the more people you tell about your business, the more successful you're going to be, because you know that it could be a random conversation on an airplane. It could be a conversation in the grocery line. It could be bumping into somebody at the park when you're on a play date with your kids. It doesn't matter. And these people that you run into by chance could be your ideal client, or they could know somebody who needs your product or service. And so don't be afraid to share what you're doing in a meaningful way when it fits into the conversation. Of course, you don't want to monopolize things and make it all about me, my work. But it's important to let people know, oh, this is what I do. This is how I make an impact in the world. Because everybody wants to know how you make an impact, right? And you want to be able to capitalize on those referrals. When people make referrals, it is so much easier to close than it is if you're doing any other kind of lead generation type of activity. And so you want to be able to use that energy when someone makes that introduction for you. Another way you can tell if you are committed to your business is you're willing to risk failure. If you're just interested in building a business, you're going to play it safe. You might stay kind of small. You're only going to take action if you know that you're going to get a win. But if you're really committed, you'll be willing to try anything to figure out the right way to do it. You understand that if you're not failing, you're not learning. We learn through failing. We get some of our best ideas from the things that imploded the most, right? Look at Einstein. He learned 1,000 different ways of how not to do things before he figured it out. And I look at the hydrogen bomb. He was working on another experiment that went wrong. Well, what he learned about that later turned into the tool that we use to win World War II. And so just because it didn't turn out the way you wanted for that particular application, it doesn't mean that it was a wasted effort. It just means that that wasn't the result that you wanted for what you were going for in the moment. Catalog, learn it, apply it later, save it in a folder. So when something else comes up, you have a tool or resource that you've already got some experience in. Another way to know if you're committed is you're willing to think outside of the box. They say that if you do the same old thing and you expect, different results, that is a sign of insanity, right? Because if we keep doing the same old thing, we're going to keep getting the same results. We have to be willing to try something new and think outside of the box. And, oftentimes this has been true for me in my business. I'll come up with an idea and people will say, that is the dumbest idea you've ever come up with. Nobody's going to be interested in that. And had I listened to them on many levels in my business, I never would have created a product or a service because of what somebody else thought. What that really means is they're just not my ideal client for that particular product or service. So don't let what other people say skew what it is that you think or feel about a particular product or service. Be willing to think outside of the box and try new things. And then I think you guys know I've talked about this before. I did a why assessment not too long ago to know what's my why, what drives me. Well, for me, it's finding a better way. So I can make sense of things so I know that what I'm doing is the right way, right? And so when you're really committed in your business, your why might be to challenge the status quo. It's like, maybe this isn't the right way to do it. Let's challenge this. Let's see if this is the right way. So understanding that just because you've always done something and you've gotten an okay result doesn't mean you have to continue to always do it that way. Shake things up a little bit. Look if there is a better way that you can improve a process or a service that you're offering, because things don't have to stay the same. You can make those adjustments and risk that failure to have greater rewards. Years ago, I gave my son a birthday card, and it had a dragon on the front who is breathing fire, and it says no guts, no glory, right? And it's got this big knight on his shining horse. We have to be able to have courage to take some of those risks, whether it's making an investment in our business, whether it's making an investment in ourselves, whether it's being willing to be out there trying to innovate something new and exciting. When you're really committed, you're willing to take those actions. So then this one is kind of similar. It's being open-minded, right? Having that growth mindset and saying anything is possible. No idea is a bad idea. You don't have to be locked into the path of how to get there, right? Be locked into the result that you want and be open to the steps that you could take to get the result that you're seeking. Um, One of the things, I'm going to go back to my event planning days. I used to work for this company that was the most difficult company I had ever worked for. They were always looking for a better way to do things to get more money, right? More productivity, less time needed, higher profits. That was what their mission was. And everything that they did led to that, except for listening to their team. They would come into us and say, this is the new way we're going to do it. And it would add 25 or 30% more work for what we needed to do to get the result we were already getting. And it would be like, are you kidding me? I would get in trouble all the time because I'm sure I was rolling my eyes, and my face always betrays what my emotions are, right? And oftentimes I'd get called into the office to say, okay, we're going to roll this thing out and you need to be on board. And I'm like, well, is it stupid? Because if it's stupid, I can't support that, right? If it's going to make me work more, I can't support that either. And, we would have these agreements. And, whenever I thought something was stupid and they rolled it out and it didn't work, it was like, you should have listened to us. You should have come to the team who's actually doing the work. So, be open minded to what your team has to say. If they're the ones actually implementing the process or procedure or what have you, because they're more intimately involved. Theory is always really great until you put it into practical action. So make sure that you are leaning into your team and valuing the input that they give, because they want to support you in growing your business. They want to play an integral part. They want to be of value to you. So listen and heed what they have to say and make your plans accordingly. And then, study what are your peers or your competitors doing, right? Sometimes people think they have to start from scratch and reinvent the wheel. You don't. See what's working for other people and try it and see if it works in your business. Make some tweaks and personalize it to work with you. One of the things that I really believe in building a business is you need to tailor make your approach. So many people sell cookie cutter solutions, and cookie cutter doesn't work for everybody. So be open minded and look at, oh, hey, this part of somebody's process works really well for me. Oh, I like this part. Oh, this works really well from someone else. Build your own system from a whole group of different ideas to find something that works for you, because we all have preferences. We all have things that we enjoy doing a certain way. Make sure that your systems are feeding into that, and if not, change them. I had a colleague come to me just this week looking for a project management tool for a client that she's going to be working with. And she said, I knew I should come to you because you work with these all the time and I don't. And, this is the group of people that I'm working with, and this is what's important to their work style. What program would you recommend would work for them? And I was so thankful that she came to me, because a tool is only a great tool if you and your team will use it. And so you want to be able to get that feedback from your tool. There's some tools that I absolutely love that my team hates. So we use the tool that they love and that I can tolerate, because they're the ones that live in it every day, right? They're the ones who are getting the results that we want to grow our business. And so be willing to look at all of the tools and resources that are available to you, from your team to your technology, and really focus on what results you're looking for and how do you leverage those to bring them together to help you get to where you want to go next. The next thing is, people who are committed will work alongside their team. And I was thinking about Walmart when I thought of this idea, and working in the marketing and branding kind of space, you look at what different corporations do. And when Walmart was originally created, Sam Walton was in there. If he was asking people to work nights, he was in there at night. If people were working on the weekends, he was in there on the weekends. It's like, I want to make affordable prices for people to live a better life. I think that's what their motto was, right? And things changed when his kids took over, and the value that they placed on their employees was so much less than what it was when Sam started Walmart. Have they done great things? Absolutely, they have. But have they paid a price for it? I was in a Walmart store not too long ago looking for a very specific item in their sporting goods department. I couldn't find anybody. And so I walked to the front, asked them to send somebody over, heard them page for it. Nobody came, nobody came, nobody came. And it became a competition for me to see how long I would have to wait before somebody came. And so my daughter was with me at the store. She went and she was shopping and getting the other things that we needed. I waited and I waited and I waited. I called the store thinking, oh, I could call the store and they could connect me to somebody. And I was right in front of the phone. The phone rang and rang and rang and rang and rang. Nobody picked up. An autoresponder didn't pick up. It rang, it rang, it rang. Walked back up to the front of the store. Nobody came, nobody came. So I guess we had been in the store about an hour, 15 minutes. And finally I said, fine, we're just going to have to go somewhere else. And so we went to check out, and there was somebody up front at the checkout, walking back and forth. And I said, hey, excuse me, I just wanted to let you guys know that we were back in sporting goods and we couldn't ever get anybody to go back there. We tried to call the store, and the employee says, yeah, good luck with that. Nobody answers the phones here. They don't even answer the phones at corporate, so don't bother to complain. And it's like, okay, are they really committed to growing their business? Because if they were, somebody would be answering the phone, and they're so large that, my little complaint probably doesn't mean anything to them. And I did write to them to let them know about my disappointing experience in their store. Nobody called me back. Nobody returned my email. And it really broke my heart, because as small business owners, we couldn't get away with doing that in our business. It would impact us greatly, right? And so it's really important to be able to support our team so our team can serve who our clients are, right? And when we're really committed to doing that, we show up, we get in the trenches. If there's problems, we help them figure out what needs to be done to fix those issues so we don't have customer complaints. So we're not rejecting, people from our business that we really do want to serve. And you know what? When we understand the value that each of our people bring and the role that they play in our business, we value them, right? They're no longer just employee number 1386962. I used to work for Target. That was my employee number 40 years ago, right? 40 years ago. 1381962. That was my employee number. I had to type it in for everything that I did on a computer, on a cash register, you name it. We want our people to be more than a number. We want our people to have a face and a name, and we want to value what they do. So whether they're helping us get things done after hours, whether they're giving us insight in how we can make things better, how we can have better customer service, we want to be committed to that process. We want to be committed to bringing value and creating a culture where our people can speak up and raise their hand and share their input and know that they're going to be seen, heard, and understood, and that their thoughts aren't just going to be swept under the rug. You outwork everyone when you are committed to growing your business, whether you're a team of one and outworking your competition, or whether you're a team of 50,000, right? You think of yourself like an Olympic athlete, right? You're the first one at the track and the last one out of the steam room. You're putting in the work. You're investing in yourself, right? You're asking for help when you need it. You don't have to do this alone, regardless of where you're at in your business growth. You know that the more practice you have at honing in your skill, the better you will become. I'm a huge football fan, as many of you may know, and Peyton Manning is one of my favorite players, even though he was never a Dallas Cowboy. Sadly, he was never a Dallas Cowboy, but living in Denver, he did come to Denver, and he was with us and won a Super Bowl not too long ago. And he does a lot of local commercials. They still live here in the Denver area. And one of the commercials that he does is for UC Health. And so he talks a lot about, it's important to be with people who are at the top of their game. And he said, it takes 80,000 hours to really become an expert in something, to be the absolute best. So when you're really committed, you're willing to make that time investment to study, to practice, to research, right? To go through the trial and error. You are the one who is the most dedicated to being your best and being that role model for the other people that are on your team, for the people that are in your organization. You set the tone, you set the work ethic. You're the one who is the action taker, because your team is going to feel frustrated and they're not going to perform at their best if they see you putting things off and procrastinating and sweeping things under the rug. Earlier in my career, I worked for a very large nonprofit. And when I went to work, they put me in the inventory department, which was a department of one. And this woman never moved anything off of her desk unless a superior was standing there asking her for a report. And she just had mountains and stacks of papers and whatever on her desk. And I went to HR and I said, I can't work here. This is never going to work for me, because she's always too busy to train me so I can do my job well, so I can help her do better, but nothing ever moves. It's always so stressful that somebody is always coming and there's always this confrontation. And I vowed, and I was in my late 20s at that point, I vowed to never run a business or be a part of a department that operated like that. I wanted to be proactive. I wanted to make it easy for other people to do their work. I wanted to be able to simplify it for them. And so when you're committed to growing your business, you're looking for those innovations, those simplicities, right? Because people are either complicators or they are simplifiers. And so I would invite you all to be a simplifier to help your people perform at their best, to remove those lines of frustration for them, and to be able to really value them and show them we're in this together. It's not all about me, it's about us. And we need each other and each other's skill set and gifts and talents to be able to really make the impact that we want to make and grow the business. So I hope that you saw a lot of those traits in yourself and that you can just feel very committed to what you're doing to show up daily. So the things that we covered today were keeping your mind always focused on growing your business, that no matter where you are, you can see things that you can implement into your business, sparking new ideas to be able to grow your business. You are open to talking about your business with anybody and everybody in a very casual, non-salesy setting, letting people know this is what I do. It's an invitation, right? If you know someone, great. If I can help you, great. But get in the habit of talking about what you do. Don't be hiding your talent under a bushel. You're willing to risk failure. Failure has a really bad rap, but failure is really just stepping stones to success. And so don't be afraid to fail. And you are open-minded. People who are open-minded or have a growth mindset always believe everything and anything is possible, right? I just need to figure out the way. People who have a mindset of lack think, oh, this is all I have. This is the talent I have. I can't grow beyond here. These are my limitations, and everything is, inside this little box. So if you're struggling with those kinds of conversations, I have some resources I could share with you. And then you work alongside your team. You show up, you put in the hours. And lastly, is you outwork everyone. You set the tone for the work ethic. You set the example. You are the leader. At the end of the day, we're a leader, whether we're a team of one or a team of many. We need to start by leading ourselves and setting the parameters for how we show up. So why is this important to you? Why does it matter if you're committed or if you're just interested? Well, it impacts how we show up. It impacts how we show up each and every day. Are we in there excited to, face those challenges? Or are we shying up and backing off and saying, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I really don't feel like it today. It matters because if your people do that, you get that domino effect. It drives your consistency. The biggest thing that you can do for your business is to take consistent action. Small steps forward are better than no steps forward. Building momentum doesn't happen on a start and stop basis, right? It takes a lot of energy to get a train moving. So once it is moving, you want to keep it moving forward, even if it's inch by inch, right? Um, it motivates your team to perform when you show up and you take action and you're decisive and they see that you're committed and you're passionate. It keeps you growing because you understand that you need to be ahead of wherever your team is. And if you're developing your team to grow, you have to continually be growing and learning so you can bring them along on your journey. And it produces results, right? And that's what we all want in our business. We want to make an impact. We want to help people, whether it's through a product or a service. We want to be able to provide that kind of transformation in people's lives. And, it sets the tone for longevity. If you want to grow sustainable business, you have to act consistently. You have to be on the top of your game. Otherwise, you're going to experience peaks and valleys in your income. It's going to be difficult to maintain a team, and you are never going to be able to reach the financial goals that you have in your business. There's several companies that I'm working with right now that are really becoming more and more mission driven. They want to be able to earn more so they can give more to different charities or causes that they believe in. And, it matters. The more money you make, not only can you hire more people and impact more people in your business, but when you donate, that really creates that ripple effect in your business, and you're able to get outside of your immediate circle and impact people through the dollars that you make, even if it isn't through your product or service. So I want to leave you guys with this quote today. You know that I love quotes, and this is by legendary race car driver Mario Andretti. He says, desire is the key to motivation, but it's determination and commitment to an unrelenting pursuit of your goal, a commitment to excellence that will enable you to attain the success you seek. I love that word, unrelenting, right? I don't use that word very often. I'm going to have to start because, that's really what it is. It's this desire that just doesn't allow us to give up. If something didn't turn out well, if a launch didn't produce what you were looking for, you do something different. And I have a friend who we trade services back and forth a little bit, and I've been helping her with a current launch. And her last launch didn't go as well as she thought that it should have. And on the surface, it looked like she should have killed it, and it just didn't happen. And so I turned her on to some of the resources that I use when I'm working with my clients, and I said, here's some books that I would like you to read. And just today she came back to me and she says, now I get it. Now I understand why I didn't get the results I was looking for. And I said, what have you discovered? And she came back with 4 very specific points that she discovered that she's going to apply to her next launch. And I know that she's going to get better results because she is relentless in finding that secret formula that works for her. Because so many things in growing a business are trial and error. What works for somebody may or may not work for you, and that's okay. It's a matter of trying and trying again until you find what works for you and puts you in that sweet spot. So, my final thoughts for today: if you're interested in growing your business, chances are high. Oh, yes, if you're interested, right, versus committed, chances are high that you won't succeed. right? You're not going to show up consistently. You're not going to be driven to get better results. You're going to show up when you want to. And if things get done, great. If not, oh well. And I know that sounds harsh, but if you want to build a sustainable business, it takes grit, commitment, and determination. If you're only interested when it comes to do the things that you don't like and enjoy, like cold calling or bookkeeping, you're going to find a reason to procrastinate. That's just human nature, and it really is that simple. But the law of diminishing effect says the longer it takes you to take action, the higher the likelihood is that you will never take action. And so if you're committed to growing your business, you're committed to taking some action. So what are some next steps that you could take? Well, I'm glad you asked. You could take out your journal. And I am a huge fan of using your journal to grow your business. And you could ask yourself, am I committed to growing a sustainable business? And really dig deep and be honest with yourself. Because if you're only interested in growing your business, there's a whole nother set of questions that you can ask, right? What do I need to do to become committed? Would be a great one to start with. And so you need to really know where you're at to know your next steps to get you to where you want to go. So start there. And then I would like you to list 5 ways that you're showing up in your business daily. Maybe that's setting consistent work hours. And it doesn't have to be 9 to 5. I don't work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I work a very varied schedule, but I'm pretty consistent on the days and the times each day that I'm there that work around other things in my life. So how are you showing up? Are you enthusiastic? Are you dreading? It's like, oh no, I have to do that today, whatever. Think about what your attitude is. How are you showing up? What's your mindset? Then I want you to list 3 areas that you need more accountability. Is it in being more consistent? Is it in speaking out about your business? Is it in growing your mindset? Where do you need to be held accountable? And then I would like you to list 3 areas that you need more clarity to take action. Maybe you're procrastinating because you just aren't sure about what the next step is, because you're not sure about maybe who it is you want to work with, or what your next offer should be, or who you need to bring onto your team. It could be a myriad of things, but what answers do you need in order to start taking action? And then, this is the most important thing, I want you to add 3 priorities to your calendar that you're going to commit to completing this week. Because if we schedule things on our calendar, it is highly likely that we are going to take action. If we just put it on a list, and I am a list person, I have my little list right here, you may or may not get it done. My list is highly motivating for me because I like to do 2 things. I like to check my box, and I like to cross through the line. Both of those things highly satisfying. But those things are in my calendar because I group things on my calendar. So between this time and this time, these are the types of tasks I'm working on. So it's on my calendar, the time is committed, but then I use a list as well so I can have the fun of checking and crossing things off. So you guys, that's what I have for you today. I am so glad that you are here. If you guys are looking at building your business and you're just not sure where you want to go, I do have a 90-day business accelerator program that can help you jumpstart your business and help you build momentum to get from where you are to where you want to be. And if that's something that you're curious about, feel free to send me a DM and we can hop on a call and find out if it's a good fit for you. And we're at the top of the hour, so I'm going to close out today, but I look forward to having you guys with me next week.